Hey everybody, here's a little tip for you. This is going to be useful if you're taking the digital SAT, and this is going to help you score a little bit better in the words and context questions in the verbal section. So take a look. Here we have a banal words and context question from the digital SAT, and I want you to pay attention at the answer choices. Here we have adjectives, right? So adjectives are quite important for the SAT. In fact, in many of the questions, in the answer choices, you will see adjectives. Here's another example, question number 2 in the same test. You can again see adjectives here in the answer choices. Another thing, here are conjunctive adverbs. What are conjunctive adverbs? Conjunctive adverbs are the adverbs like therefore, because, afterwards, likewise, nevertheless, moreover, words like this in English language that basically combine two sentences. So they come in the beginning of the second sentence. If this is the first sentence and this is the second sentence, let's say, and these two sentences are somehow related to each other, then you have to use a conjunctive adverb in order to complete this text. So here we have another conjunctive adverb question. Basically speaking, in the SAT, you're going to see two types of very common words and context problems. One of them is going to be with adjectives, like you saw in the beginning of this video. The other type is going to be with conjunctive adverbs, like we see right now. Here is another one, in fact, and on average, there are 6 to 7 questions like this. So you can imagine this is a very, very big part of the SAT because there are overall 27 questions in the verbal section. In each module, there are 2 modules, and there are around 7 questions where you see either adjectives or conjunctive adverbs. So this is 25% of the test, as you can tell. So what can we do in order to solve these questions correctly, or in order to at least have a higher chance of scoring higher in such questions? Of course, my advice is going to be, for at least 1 week, you should sit down and focus on learning conjunctive adverbs and adjectives. Okay, in my full SAT video course that is available on my website, tolukaneducation.com, I have 2 videos about conjunctive adverbs, how to solve SAT questions with conjunctive adverbs, and I have a video about adjectives, especially for literature passages. Those who have purchased the course, the price of the course is 50 euros, and it's the #1, and I repeat, #1 SAT video course in the world. No better course in the world is available. Yeah, so those who have purchased the course already watched the videos, but those who have not purchased the course, I still have some good news for you. You can, of course, purchase the course. You can purchase it through the Telegram group or by going straight to my website, but stick with me right now because I'm going to explain to you how you can succeed in these types of questions on the SAT. So take a look. Here we are on the website called oxfordlearnersdictionaries.com. Now, this is a dictionary from the Oxford University that contains really nice definitions of words. Whenever you're reading a book, once you come across an adjective, you have to immediately memorize it. You have to understand what it means, you have to memorize the meaning, and you have to see some examples to understand how to use this adjective properly. And here in Oxford's Learner's Dictionary, you can actually take a look at the definition, take a look at some examples, and at synonyms of the words that you have to learn. Now, how should you find adjectives in the Oxford Learner's Dictionary? So we are now in Google, and we're just going to write adjectives, or top 20 adjectives in English language, or maybe top 100. Let's say top 100 adjectives in English. And there's a lot of stuff that comes out. So we just click on any one of those, and it says here 100 most useful adjectives. Perfect. This is what we're looking for. So we're going to go and see those 100 most useful adjectives. Because if you can actually learn those 100 most useful adjectives, as they say, there's a higher chance, a much higher chance, that you will score more on the SAT's words and context questions, especially questions where you have adjectives in the answer choices. So take a look. Here we already have the website loaded, and there are so many adjectives here that are indeed really useful for the SAT. I know it because I've been teaching SAT for the past 5 years. Now take a look. Authentic. What does it mean? Authentic means real. It means sincere. It means 100% true. And the synonym is sincere. Sincere means real. And the antonym, which is the opposite of that word, is fake. Okay, so there is real and fake. There is authentic, and there is fake. So you can learn like that, and then you can go to the Oxford Learner's Dictionary and take a look. You can write authentic here, all right? And it's going to give you the word. Not only that, it's going to give you the definition in English language, regardless of your native language. If you are speaking Russian or Arabic or I don't know, any other language, you can learn the definition in English because the definition is provided here with easy words, and you should get used to that. Not only that, you should also read the example because these words should be learned with their examples. Examples stick in mind a little bit better. So it says, I don't know if the painting is authentic. Okay, so that's an example. You can understand that example. Painting may be authentic, may be fake, yeah? Because when you're buying a certain picture, a painting, it could be fake. You can go to extra examples, and it says here, the documents seem authentic enough. The documents seem real enough. Okay, so you are basically speaking, seeing many, many examples, and that way, this new word that you have learned sticks in your mind a little bit better. We can go to another interesting adjective here. For example, necessary. Do you know what necessary means? Necessary means important, fundamental. Fundamental is the synonym of the word necessary. So this is how we activate the process of learning. You do not need a one-on-one tutor to teach you these words. You have internet, you have a connection, you have time, and that's all you need. If you have those three things, an internet connection, time, and a browser, this is all you ever have to have in order to learn English language. And as I said, by learning these words, you will be able to understand these types of questions. Now, these are conjunctive adverbs. Similarly, finally, therefore, specifically, these are not adjectives. So let's take a look at conjunctive adverbs. I have already published on my full SAT video course the meanings, the definitions of very important conjunctive adverbs, and I explained most of them. But regardless of that, you can still go to the internet and you can just search for conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs in English, right? See what we're doing? We're starting from the bottom, and now you can just see a list of conjunctive adverbs. For example, do you know all of these? Do you know what it means conversely? If you don't know, that's a really useful word in English language. You should definitely learn it. When you say something and then you want to say the opposite of that, you say conversely. For example, I was walking out and breathing air and doing physical activities. And conversely, my little sister was sitting home and scrolling her social media. Or you can use conversely when you want to say the opposite of something. For example, somebody says, is John a good person? And you say, conversely, John is a really bad person, So this is the stuff that I know because I once went to the Oxford's dictionary and I learned these things. So let's write conversely here. Conversely, see, it's an adverb. It's a conjunctive adverb. And there are some examples. You can add the fluid to the powder, or conversely, the powder to the fluid. You see, they kind of changed the order. So this is where you use conversely. Good. Now we have another word in our vocabulary so that whenever you see that word on the SAT, you can recognize it and you will have no problem understanding that word. Basically speaking, in order to solve 25% of the digital SAT questions easily, there is no other way than knowing conjunctive adverbs and adjectives. There are lots of adjectives in English language. In the same way, there are lots of conjunctive adverbs in English language. So, in order for you to score a really good score, you have to know these two types of words. And believe me, every day, if you sit down and learn at least 5 words, 5 adjectives, and 5 conjunctive adverbs, that is going to be enough, okay? So, because if you do it for 30 days, you will have 5 conjunctive adverbs each day, 5 adjectives each day. That will give you 300 words at the end of the 30-day period. 300 words is a lot. A lot. Because on the SAT, you are not even going to see 300 new words, You're going to see less. Basically speaking, if you can do this exercise, if you can just go on Google or any other search engine and just type conjunctive adverbs or adjectives or top 20 adjectives in English language. And if you can learn them by memorizing them, by looking at their definition, by reading the examples and trying to keep it in mind, then you will be more successful on the SAT than anybody else. Why? Because most of the students don't do this. They just wait. They wait for their teacher to teach them this. They wait for their tutor to explain this. You don't have to wait. You can just sit down and do it yourself. And then you are going to be successful, believe me.